Hello and welcome to the Dairy Digest. I'm Dr. Jackie Borman. Today on the Purdue Dairy Digest, we will talk about a recent article published in the Journal of Dairy Science about the long-term effects of heat stress during late gestation. Here in the Midwest of the United States, we have had a hot summer thus far. We have not had extreme heat waves, but rather sustained periods of higher than average temperatures and definitely temperatures in which cows experience heat stress. In the United States, it is estimated that heat stress costs the dairy industry over $1.5 billion per year in reduced milk production, reduced reproductive performance, and increased morbidity and mortality of animals. Heat stress that occurs during the dry period also results in reduced milk production in the subsequent lactation because of delayed mammary involution after dry-off and impaired mammary gland development that occurs in preparation for the next lactation. Previously on this podcast, we have discussed the long-term effects of in utero heat stress on first lactation milk production of offspring. A recent paper published in the Journal of Dairy Science by Jimena Laporta and co-authors follow the offspring of these heat-stressed dry cows for several lactations, as well as the granddaughters of these heat-stressed dry cows. Heifers born to heat-stressed cows during their dry period produced 10 pounds per day less milk in their first lactation, implying that there are negative consequences of heat stress on mammary development or fetal programming relating to milk production, even in utero. As reproductive organs are formed and programmed in utero, it is possible that the heat stress that a cow experiences while pregnant also impacts the ovaries of the fetus that is developing. Therefore, heat stress may cause multi-generational negative effects, and these researchers followed daughters and granddaughters of dry period heat stress cows to evaluate if in fact heat stress has multi-generational effects. Records from over 400 dams, 150 daughters, and 45 granddaughters were evaluated from one research farm in Florida. The dams were either actively cooled by shaved fans and water soakers or not cooled during their last 46 days of gestation. All daughters and granddaughters were treated the same and monitored from birth through at least third lactation. Daughters of heat-stressed animals had reduced likelihood of survival through 5 years of age than daughters of cooled dams. Milk production was 4.8 pounds per day lower in daughters of heat-stressed cows when looking at the first 3 lactations combined. Similarly, milk production was 2.9 pounds per day lower in granddaughters of heat-stressed cows when looking at the first 3 lactations combined. Although in this study there were limited numbers of animals included for analysis, it does support the idea that there are long-term consequences of in utero heat stress. The researchers also calculated the economic cost associated with late gestation heat stress, determined that on the average U.S. dairy farm, the daughter of a heat-stressed cow will produce 260 pounds less of milk per lactation and have 5 months shorter of productive life than if their mother was cooled during the dry period. This will obviously depend on the severity of heat stress at each location, but shows that there are economic effects of cooling dry cows that last for multiple generations. Even though heat stress has obvious effects on milk production of lactating cows, it has substantial effects on the productivity of future generations as well through the effects of in utero heat stress, and emphasizes the importance of cooling dry cows, especially in areas of the country that experience severe heat stress. If you are a subscriber to the podcast, can you do us a favor and rate us in iTunes? If you're not a subscriber, become one today, and you can listen to this podcast at your own time. Thank you.